Marc Bruner is one of the most compelling success stories in the history of the oil and gas industry. Like Howard Hughes, J. Paul Getty, and all other great entrepreneurial visionaries, Bruner's talent is detecting major untapped opportunities and transforming these into viable multi-billion-dollar businesses. Today, we'll learn how MGX has all the elements in place for Bruner to take it to the next level and beyond. Now that's quite the intro, my friend. You retired as a little bit of a living legend in the oil and gas industry. What motivated you to come out of retirement now?
Well, Fiona, it was actually, I was a little bored, okay? I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs that find themselves when they're out of the game that want to get back in. And, I was no exception. So that's really the reason I came back, because I wanted to be involved in building companies again. So, which is my first love other than my wife.
Well said. Now, why MGX and why MGX now? Why was it the right company for you?
Well, I was absolutely fascinated with the idea of being able to extract other minerals outside oil and gas, which I'm very familiar with, out of what is the other component in producing oil and gas. It's water, okay? In most cases, water production over the life of the wells or the fields continues to go up. So when I found out that MGX had a process to be able to take lithium and other minerals out of the water, I was really intrigued, okay? And looking at what's happening with, the other lithium cars and everything else, I really felt like it's going to be a brand new industry. I was fascinated by the fact that MGX seemed to have all of the oil and gas lithium scores in Alberta essentially tied up. Mm-hmm. That's really when I decided to join MGX.
And you coined the term petrolithium. Maybe you can elaborate on that and tell us what it means exactly.
Well, it means you're still producing oil and gas, okay? And at the same time as you produce water as a byproduct, historically a byproduct of the production of oil and gas, now it's a revenue stream, okay? By being able to have a process that extracts not just the lithium, but other minerals as well, it's a symbiotic relationship with the oil and gas industry. And I just never dreamed that something like that was going to happen. So I'm very excited that MGX has actually coined the term petrolithium.
And explain how you're going to use this technology to open up the Paradox Basin.
Well, the really fascinating thing about the Paradox Basin is that it's one of these areas. The first thing that attracted me was it doesn't require fracking, okay? Fracking is a controversial oil and gas procedure that is being used, around the United States and other parts of the world. Here, because the pressure is so high, the pressure gradient here is actually, 0.85. My ultra-petroleum Pinedale anticline pressure gradient was 0.65. So you don't require any fracking here, which I think is very environmentally friendly. The other thing that was so fascinating about the Paradox Basin is that in terms of the minerals in the water, seawater, for example, is 35,000 total dissolved solids. This is 450,000 total dissolved solids. So the water is so thick in minerals that it's almost too thick to flow, but it's not too thick to flow. So you're going to have a tremendous number of other minerals aside from lithium here. In addition, historically, the lithium values have been as high as recorded values of 1,700 parts per million, which rivals areas in Chile, okay, and other places in South America where they're producing lithium. And the beautiful thing is here in the good old USA, right? It's not in an area that's very difficult to be able to produce the lithium at. So, and the other thing that I think is important is that we have wonderful oil and gas leases that have been formed into what we call federal units, okay, which allows us plenty of time to exploit both the oil and gas and the water that comes with it, okay? Now, at some point, we may decide that we just want to produce the water alone because the values in the lithium values and other minerals are so high. But when you put the two together, I think it makes for something that certainly looks to de-risk the whole project.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mark. If you want to find out more, all you have to do is go to the website. It is mgxminerals.com.